And welcome back to my channel. Here we are to recap the Western Regional qualifying meet where we had some pretty significant performances, and we're just going to focus on a few highlights here. And right away, we'll go ahead and jump in and get started with the guy who's blowing up the internet, Jordan Anthony of Arkansas, running that 9.75 that was barely wind aided. Very talented young sprinter. This is his third stop, yes, but this is proof that you should keep going until you find something that works for you. And he's found something that works for him, obviously. I think he'll be the big name at the championships because I think he's going to break the NCAA record if the weather is good and he's in good health. I don't think any one of you are going to disagree with that. He's been an outstanding performer all year long, and that does not look to change at all. He really has found his footing, a really good sprinter coming out of high school. He is on the shorter side, so I don't know if football is going to be his bread and butter, but I do think he should acknowledge his talent on the track. And you've got Garrett Kalund, who is a part of that phenomenal USC contingent. I believe they have 5 guys out of 12 in that region that are going to be competing in the 100. And I think maybe even 3 of them may even get to the final. That's how strong this USC squad is. But he's amongst them, and he's their top 200 guy. He's amongst the nation's elite in the 100, the 200, and 400. I think he's the only one that can say that. And that just speaks to the great coaching that goes on at USC, which I know I harp on a lot on this channel, but it's because it's true. They've done a phenomenal job, and he is a part of that. Jumping right over, looking in the women's side, another transfer, someone who went through, this is their third stop. Jasmine Montgomery, she started at Oregon, went to Florida, did not go well. Now back at Texas A&M, her home state, where she was a superstar. It's gone phenomenally well. She's amongst the lead in both the 100 and 200, and I think one more year with Texas A&M coaching, she's going to be the star. Um, she's still a threat right now. I mean, she's going to be nipping at those heels of Jamesha Ford, who I think is having the year of her life outdoors. But, you know, happy to see things going well for Jasmine Montgomery. She is a super talent. And these are times that we thought she'd be running a while ago, and she's finally doing them. Transitioning back to the women's side, we'll look at Madison White of USC. Broke the school record, and that's no slouch time. 22:16 the 200. I think we thought it was just Jamesha Ford, and it's not. It's Madison White, Jasmine Montgomery. India Mayberry may show up, the talented freshman who qualified in both the 100 and 200, but Madison White to me she was a great recruit, and she's turning out to be a great SC Trojan. 22:16. I think there's more in those legs. So we'll see. It might take a 21-9 to win the women's 200-meter title. So we'll see. Moving on to the 800, Megan Hunter, BYU. And BYU is still having a great year, even with some of the graduations they had. They've got a great squad. But she's the leader, I think, the 800, 158.9. Her final lap, she looked solid. Specifically that last 150 that you could kind of see on the internet. I watched the whole race, and she looked great. I think she's the only threat to Michaela Rose. With Juliet Whitaker out, and I know there's Royson Willis of Stanford who also went in the 2 minute mark, but the girls in the 158, the women in the 158 range, her and Michaela Rose are on a different level because they both ran their races running 158 pretty convincingly ahead of the others, and I think 157 is coming for somebody. Sam Whitmarsh is also another outstanding 800 runner out of Texas A&M, kind of leading the pack for Texas A&M because unfortunately Kemar Farquharson did not qualify. The 2 guys from Arkansas, Tyrese Taylor and Rivaldo Marshall, both qualified, and they're going to be a threat, but I think Sam Whitmarsh is also a serious threat. He looked the most comfortable to me winning the 800, and he did that against Koitatu Kidalo of Oregon, the super freshman. Sam Whitmarsh, man, I've seen him in person. He's a big man, big, strong man, an outstanding 800 runner, so let's look forward to seeing what he can do because it's going to be impressive. And then moving to even bigger distances, you have the young freshman from New Mexico, Matthew Koskai. And yes, New Mexico, I know. They're a phenomenal small school program. And he's the latest star. He's competed on the national stage for Kenya. So although he's a freshman, I think we may have found our next big distance star in the steeplechase, and it might be him. We've been waiting for a star in that event for a while, and he may be the guy we've been looking for. Sticking to the distance event, back to the women, happy to see the great group of milers from both Oregon and Washington qualify. They each qualified three athletes in the mile, both Oregon and Washington. For Oregon, it was Claudia Kazmierska, Silan Ayadiz, and Mia Barnett. And for Washington, Chloe Forrester, Sophie O'Sullivan, and Amina Maltug. Great, phenomenal group. You know, Maltug is not someone that's strange to this channel. I've mentioned her multiple times. And along with Cillian Ayadiz, she was a highlight on this channel. She, at one point, broke the NCAA record indoors. And then you have Maggie Cogden of Northern Arizona, who will lead the way. 405 in regional competition. That's no slouch mark. We're going to be hearing more from her later on, I think, at the championships and in postseason of the pro ranks. 'Cause I think she's going to obviously go there. 405, I watched her race and she looked really comfortable. So we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be one of the best races. We have our favorites, and I'll talk about them in the preview next week, but I'm looking forward to that mile race. It's going to be great. And back, to this women's sprints, there's a name I may have forgot to mention, Kaylin Brown of Arkansas. She's not at the low 49 level that she was last outdoor season, but that didn't happen to the championship meet. So we don't know what she's going to do, but we do know that she's coming into the meet looking pretty good. 50.5 at regionals. She was one of the stronger athletes, and I think she's going to be there. It's going to require that if she wants to be able to beat Aaliyah Butler, who I'm going to say it now, I think she's my favorite. No Isabella Whitaker in her way, even though Kaylin Brown is the top returning athlete. It's what have you done for me lately, and Aaliyah Butler has looked really good. But we can't ignore that great Arkansas squad, which I believe qualified 4 or 5 in the 400. And then moving to the field events, I can't ignore Alexis Brown of Baylor. What a talented jumper. And she's also a great sprinter for Baylor. She does a great relay leg. This is probably the strongest Baylor squad I've seen in a while. They've got some great sprinters. This is a really good Baylor team. And Alexis Brown is another transfer athlete where it worked well for her. She was at Florida, had some up and down moments. Things looked okay, but at Baylor, she's on another level. It's worked well for her. And sticking to the jumps, let's not ignore Brandon Green of Oklahoma, who will likely be the top guy, the indoor champion, being kind of absent from the Missouri team this outdoor season, either due to injury or probably in preparation for the World Championships this summer. But Brandon Green is the guy right now, and he looked at 55 feet in a qualifying meet. We also can't ignore the great long jumping of J.C. Stevenson of USC. And that was a great, yes, that was a great long jump mark, 25.8 and 3 1/4. A new name is kind of appearing out of the bushes, Charles Godfrey of Minnesota, a sophomore. I think this event is going to either give us a new champion, or I think JC will step to the level that we've kind of been expecting. I think he's been more of a sprinter, but as the season has gone on, his teammates are starting to surpass him, but he did qualify. So we'll see what becomes of the long jump. The high jump, I was really happy to see Tyus Wilson of Nebraska qualify. He's an outstanding high jumper, and I think that event is going to be quite interesting come NCAA championship time. Moving to the throwers events, you have Maya Lesnar, Brock Lesnar's daughter, outstanding thrower, having a great outdoor season. When it comes to the preview, I think we're going to have a really fun discussion, but she looked great qualifying. I believe the only one over 60 feet. Let me confirm that. Yes, the only one in the region over 60 feet in a qualifying uh, round. I mean, just fantastic stuff. And then you have Mikolas Alekna of Cal. That is the guy. Every time his name pops up on a start list, I am like watching with bated breath. I'm like, can we go to the discus? And I love track. Obviously, you're here, you know, you can tell. But he makes throwing just like an art form. I'm like, man, because he's an Olympic silver medalist. I think he's a future gold medalist. I think he's going to set the NCAA record yet again. Because there isn't anyone in the field that really can compete with him. It's just the record is always under threat when he steps into the ring. And that is just fantastic, I think, for us. What a great athlete he is. And I look forward to seeing what he's going to do come championship time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the recap. I mean, we got some great relay action. Arkansas women and men qualified in the 4x4. Likewise with USC, Texas A&M in the 4x1 and 4x4. We're going to have some interesting conversations when we talk about our preview next week, because I think this is going to be a very fast 4x1, faster than we've seen in a while. I think the winning 4x1 will run under 38 seconds. I don't think the 4x4 is under any threat. I think it will take a sub 3-minute performance to win it, but I don't think it'll be that many. But I do think the race will be great. And so that, again, is our recap. We had a great weekend. This video is not as long as the last one. I kind of apologize for that. I was just rambling. But this meet was really just exceptional. And my thoughts, and before we go, my thoughts, I did promise this, my thoughts on the regional format. As nice as it was, I want to get rid of it. I like the format that is an indoor, where they take the top 16 times or 16 performances in the country and have them compete to qualify, and then there's a final. I think that is best. That really, to me, is the most interesting format. That's the way it was before regionals were created, I think in 2001 when I was a freshman in high school. I would like to see them go back to that. I really would. I think that is the best format. I don't really find the benefit of the regional calendar working, and I think it just prolongs the season. I think an extra week before a lot of these national championships that a lot of these athletes compete for would serve their bodies some good after a long, very long collegiate season. So that's my hope, is that we move away from the regional format altogether and just stick to a qualifying format. But thanks for listening to me. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you disagree with anything I said, please put it in the comments, and we can go ahead and have a fun little chat there. But thank you guys for always supporting me, and I'll see you next week with our preview video.